What is going on, guys? Mobile Carrier News here, and T-Mobile is really saying that they will dominate 5G for the next 10 years. Now, for the short term right now, Verizon and AT&T are dominating. Regardless on how much marketing T-Mobile does, regardless on saying we're better than the other guys, in the short term, they are currently not, on the lead. However, I do believe that in the long term, it will pay off. At least I'm hoping I do, because their spending habits it's just too low, in my opinion. You can't say you're going to be top in 5G and your speeds are going to be fast and this and that with ultra capacity and better coverage, better gap, better indoor service, like indoor 5G, regardless of their 600 megahertz. Like, I wouldn't put my whole faith in that, because of their spending habits. They're only spending 5 to 7. Remember, they're only spending 5 to 7 billion dollars a year, while your competitors are spending $13 billion more than you. They're spending 18 to 20 billion dollars in 1 year, while you're literally, I would say, I believe, capped at 5 to 7 billion, because either they don't have the money, they probably do, but they don't spend more. I don't know why. Maybe they're trying to keep a balance between their 5G, their home internet, and maybe TV service. Now, if that's the case, I would ditch that plan or goal and go all out on 5G. I would at least be, if I was them, I would be spending at least 20 to 30 billion dollars for all services, but mostly 5G, because T-Mobile's saying by this year they're gonna cover what, 200 million people. Okay, that's great and all, but it sounds like you're talking about customer base, and it doesn't sound like you're talking about the service. Because I have had T-Mobile since December 2020, and it's currently June. And is their coverage great? It's decent. I would say if I still had AT&T, I would have better coverage if I still had them. But at the moment, T-Mobile is decent. Their 5G it's pretty fast. It's decently fast. I can download and upload things faster, like on YouTube, on Spotify, TikTok, Snapchat, all those applications people use high amounts of data. However, T-Mobile it's not what I'm expecting. Sure, 5G is new, but you can't really be saying, oh, our 5G is going to beat the other guys, when you're only spending $5 to 7 billion, and your competition spending $13 billion more. They're spending 18 to 20 billion dollars. And in my tower, and in my area, you did fix my coverage. I went from 110 megabytes per second download to 160. Yeah, 160. So that is a pretty big improvement, but and you turned my upload speeds from 7 megabytes per second to 14 megabytes per second. So you did do something to my service. You did improve it. However, that is not enough. That is very cheap work. Okay, maybe your engineer, maybe you had maybe you're going to extend my service more later on, but that is a very small improvement. Don't get me wrong, it's a big improvement. 110 to 168, my speeds are way faster now. However, I'll be doing I did a speed test on it last night. The thing I don't find good about that is it's good speeds, don't get me wrong. However, it's not all the time. Like right now, it's currently morning. If I do a speed test and I don't get that speed test from last night, that to me means there's issue with either backhaul or the tower performs very differently. Regardless of how many people are using the tower close to me, because of Magenta Max, it's truly unlimited, right? They can't slow you down. They can't pause your service, right? Because of that, my speeds should be fast. But sometimes they're not. Sometimes at peak, like in the afternoon, if I do a speed test around my house or area, it will be at, if it's not at 160, it'll be lower, like at 100 or probably 90. So that's basically telling me that the tower needs to be cranked up more. It needs to be improved more equipment or panels that can handle more congestion or usage. Because if I can't keep getting those speeds 168 megabytes per second consistently or at the same time, like an hour difference or two, then you need to improve that service, especially at peak times. Like it doesn't, like I could switch to Wi-Fi, but I prefer 5G because, like you guys say, it's pretty fast, even though 5G is new. So, I really hope T-Mobile does, and their capex too. They're, I believe, decreasing or increasing. I can't really remember, but you know, T-Mobile can say all they want, but if they're not spending the money, if they're not actually improving equipment, if you're not fixing your small cells with Sprint, I remember that. I remember that thing. You're gonna have what, 5,000 small cells, only use 13,000. What's gonna happen with the rest? You can't just leave the rest behind. So yeah, T-Mobile in the short term currently not doing so good. In long term, possibly some potential. Possibly. Well, I'll honestly have to see it myself and see where how other states are affected with this, and see how they improve, really. Because I'm better off using LTE to use as my service and get my speeds going. The problem with T-Mobile's LTE though is in some areas the LTE, like at the beach or maybe in another area, it lags. It still lags. They still need to improve their LTE. They relate to the LTE game and they still need to improve it, in my opinion. Like if I'm going to the beach, walking, running, anything, if I'm just walking in general, and my service is blocked by the hills up by like one of those like a cliff, and I'm trying to get speeds, my download or upload would literally take 30 seconds to a minute, and that's just like that. That's not what I paid for. And 5G down. Well, you do have some parts of 5G down at the beach, but only in a certain area. If I stay in one specific area, like don't move, just stay there, I will get 200 megabytes per second. But in other areas, not the case. You need to keep improving that. You can't just keep doing these small cranks and little improvements here and there. You got to go all in, or Verizon and T-Mobile will dominate. No, Verizon and AT&T will dominate. Sooner or later, I will be doing speed. I will literally purchase the service and phones of both carriers, Verizon and AT&T, and do speed tests for all of them, regardless if I'm paying a lot of money for them. I will do speed tests on all these, and T-Mobile should be scared, honestly. Really scared, because I'm not sure if their long-term plan can work. It might work. It's just you got to be spending more, in my opinion. 18 to 20 billion is a lot, and you're spending only 5 to 7. You need to crank up the heat. You need to go all in, prioritize, or you're just going to be left behind like Sprint. You won't go bankrupt. You will not go bankrupt. That's a fact. But you're going to be in third place, and you've been in third place all this time. Like even Sprint, like they've improved their service quite a lot, and T-Mobile's lucky to buy them and use them, or else Sprint would just be bankrupt. It'd be all over for them, and all those towers and services, all those towers would literally be just destroyed, and Sprint would just ruin its reputation, and all that hard work in towers that Sprint used to do would just go to waste. I'm pretty sure the government would would get a hold of that and use that spectrum and service for television, or just sell it back to T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T. But T-Mobile really needs to get their head in the game. They need to do better with CapEx, better with service, because it's not as great as the marketing says. So we'll see how the service is in another year or two. I'll probably be in a different location. I'll do a speed test there. If it's decent, well, then it's decent. Hopefully they improve it. I honestly hope they do. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video.